Next up, we have Mr. Matt Jackson. He is the Executive Director for Hope for Three. And Matt, again, I want to thank you for heading this up. It's very important for our community. My first question for you is, so what are the main obstacles Hope for Three has faced when you are working with the community and you're trying to help the many families who are living with this every day?
Well, we better get takeout because we're going to be here a while. I would prefer certainly to cede a lot of my time to everybody else up here because I think they have a lot of very important things to say. I just want to follow up on a couple of points that were brought up earlier because I do think they're challenges that we face, that our families have faced. Specifically to what Representative Reynolds said with respect to how do I actively petition the state and how can I get support through the state. The reason we're all in this room right now is because of a woman named Hope Montgomery. And she's here right now. Hope, if you don't mind raising your hand. The reason why Hope for Three exists is because of the strength and resolve. The reason this organization exists is because of the strength and resolve of a mom who has triplets that were all identified with autism, and her friends saw how hard she was working to find answers and to find support and to be the best mom she could be and to have the best family she could have for not only her daughters, for her son, for her husband. And it truly takes a village for everyone involved in the world of autism. And Hope fought like hell. She went to Austin. She told the state what was benefiting her kids. And she said during the last session, here is how you're helping, and if you pass certain legislation, it's going to hurt our families. We did have legislation during the last session. It was through the Senate. It wasn't through the House of Representatives that put a cap on funding that supported individuals with mental or behavioral health conditions, and it's hurt. You know, the DARS grant that does benefit a lot of families, it has been a larger size before. It has impacted a lot of people before, more before than it does now. We have to invest more money from a state standpoint in mental and behavioral health. We're 51st, including Puerto Rico as a U.S. territory, and the amount of money that we're putting into that. And that's not helping you, and it's not helping any of your children. So I would tell you to sit down with your local representative. I would tell you one person in particular in our community who would be beneficial for you to talk to, and that's Senator Lois Kohlhorst, because she is involved in the subcommittee that takes up this particular issue each and every session. George Patterson from Texana has been very involved with this as well. And though the state has spent more money on mental and behavioral health and specific to autism over the last couple of years, because we've seen a cap on what can support an individual, we've seen a reduction in the effectiveness of those services. So I would recommend two things, because while we have been extremely thankful because of Hope and because of her family to be able to grow an organization over 5 years that can support other families, it's 1 in 45. I mean, we can do the math. We can't help everyone, and the only people that can ultimately help us all is where the largest pools of funding are, and it's really on the state level. It's through it's through state services, and ultimately it's through public education. It is through the funding through public education that we have the scale and capacity to affect these children's lives. and speaking to Dr. Carrillo's point about kind of the black hole of when the bus stops arriving, the state really has to look at investing more money in job training, in employer training for our adults with autism, that they can be capable workers and be completely understood within their, within their jobs as they happen to be. So talk to your local representatives, vote. Your local elections, be they school board, be they representatives, senators, I can't stress this enough. These are the most important elections that you will have as a parent, because those are the people that you are most likely to be able to really come in contact with. You can go to Ron Reynolds' office and speak with him. I mean, you can. You can go to...
You did.
Yeah, yes. You can go to Rick Miller's office and speak with him. You can speak with Senator Kohlhorst. These are people that will take the time to speak with you, and because you have your hands full, they have to help you get that message out there. I think the fact that you're all in this room means that there's a lot of other people that you can connect to as well. We want you all to meet parents. Everyone up here has stressed the point of not keeping this to yourselves and seeking out support. It's vital for you. It's vital for your child. So talk to your local representatives and your people that are advocating on your behalf. Vote and look at those school board elections as well. Those typically are the ones that are having the least amount of turnout.
And early voting starts Monday.
And just really, that's a great way for you to have your voice. But the grassroots swell is where we're ultimately going to have the impact.
That's right.
We need 100,000 Hope Montgomerys.
Yes.
And we need there to be some way to unify you all as parents and as grandparents and as brothers and sisters together to make change that's not going to affect one child, but that it's going to affect every child, and ultimately will impact their siblings and will impact even typical children in a classroom environment where maybe a teacher doesn't have the training or resources to devote her time to education of every child. There's a lot of big picture issues out there, but it ultimately will have to start with your voice. And I can't encourage you any more strongly. The easiest way for you to use your voice is to vote. The second easiest way for you to do it is to contact your local representatives, explain your story, and tell them what they need. They're well aware of the issues. I don't know that they're necessarily always aware of the rising nature of the epidemic. Just in Fort Bend County, this condition costs in excess of $180 million a year. And we have to convince the state of Texas that the cost of educating and providing employment training for a child over 18 to 20 years is more cost effective than institutionalizing or incarcerating or having individuals end up as wards of the state. And that's that's just how I feel about it. But the fact that you guys are here today, that's an important first step. We know you all care. Nobody cares more about your child than you do. Just encourage you to stay positive, and as Dr. Habet said, celebrate the moments. Celebrate the moments that are out there. So thank you so much for coming today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.